All right, folks, we are back with more Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising, and you know what? This yodeling music, kind of pog. I'm gonna switch it out real quick though. Okay, so we are here, more Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising, doing a bit of a ranking. You know, it's tier list December, as some people have called it. But we're not doing a tier list this time, but it's top 5 December as well. You know, it still counts. Starts with a T. So what we're doing is we're gonna talk about the 5, in my opinion, the 5 best fireballs / projectiles in Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising. And listen, it gets a little muddy in some cases, right? Like, some things look like projectiles but aren't projectiles. Some things are technically projectiles, but like, you know, they don't really feel like they should be, etc., right? Like, there's definitely like a bit of nomenclature. There's a bit of nomenclature problem. It's a bit of a nomenclature problem here for sure, right? Like, you know, Vikala, Dormouse is not on this list, don't worry. But Vikala Dormouse is, for example, a strike. Do you know this? This thing is not a projectile, it's a strike. But like, this thing's a fireball. Like, if I feel like I was making a ranking of fireballs, I'll put this on there, right? So there's gonna be definitely like just some like amount of, you know, Brick thinks it makes sense this way, so it's gonna be this way, right? But yeah, we'll get into it as we go here, right? So, without further ado, some further ado first, actually. If you like the video, all that good stuff, subscribe, helps out a lot. Comment, let me know what I missed, how you disagree with me entirely, how all that shit goes, as it does on YouTube. Also, I do stream every day from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern, except for Friday, so come by and hang out. Chilling over, let's talk about our number 5 here. And, okay, actually, before I get into number 5, add some honorable mentions, just like things that are either like just not quite there in my head or are a little bit of like weird examples, right? So I'm gonna bring up 2 here that I think are both actually very good, but I'm not entirely certain that I want to like, I'm not entirely certain how much they count in my brain. But let's talk about Zoe, let's talk about Nier, okay? So the forward F-150 on Zoe is a fireball, right? This guy, he's a projectile. It's a projectile property move, right? Ladiva can like use her anti-projectile moves against this shit and all of that. This thing's pretty good. This thing's pretty good. I'm not so sure that it makes it on here anyways, even if it is, if you count it fully. But like, just wanted to mention that, I suppose, right? Just wanted to mention that on there. The other one, and the one that actually is, I think, in laser. I mean, a lot of Zoe's projectiles, like all the dragon projectiles are pretty good, right? Light dragon, laser, all of this are all pretty good. All of them, I think, like you can just put Zoe as a character in honorable mentions and go from there. She's got a lot of good ones. I'm not quite sure they crack like best fireballs in the game for me. The other one, which like, honestly, depending on how you think about it, this is probably just like undisputed number 1 because it's everything that Death can do, because Death is a projectile, right? But like, this is where we get into like, this is where it's like, I feel like this is kind of cheating. Like maybe you could rank like just Ominous Turn or something and go from there. But like, Death is a projectile, and like all of Death's stuff is like, she's projectile coded, right? So like, I think I'm just not gonna include Nier. But yeah, like, honestly, like 214H by itself is also pretty high up here, also probably. But like, you know, when I'm thinking like I'm ranking best fireballs, I'm kind of using fireball and projectile interchangeably in my head, and like, if I have like a fireball top 5 and a puppet is number 1, it just doesn't feel right to me, you know? So I think I'm gonna leave Death out of this list, but I just wanted to mention them here because they are obviously an incredibly strong projectile type move, right? The other 2 honorable mentions I have here are, where are they? Are Metera, where'd she go? Metera, and this one could be a little bit crazy. Maybe this deserves to be in the top 5. This is like number 6 in my head. Metera and Siegfried, right? Metera's fireballs are pretty good, right? But like, in a vacuum, like, they're not amazing. They're just like solid ass projectiles. And her U fireball, of course, is like basically the highest priority fireball in the game, right? Sure. But like, these to me are just like very solid like workhorse fireballs, and it's because she has like, you know, fucking 17 of them, right? She got like the crouching version and the aerial version and the butterflies and this, like all of that together makes it very good, right? Yeah, she can shoot them in the air too and stuff. Like, these are good. But like, they don't quite stand out to me necessarily, right? And yes, so for me, what I would probably consider like number 6, and like this probably was just number 1 before it got nerfed, so maybe it's like still somewhere in here. Like, this to me, I think was just pretty easily number 1 before it got nerfed, is Siegfried's H Fireball. This got nerfed basically to be a lot faster, which is actually a big nerf, because not only does it mean it's not as good of a neutral tool anymore, because like you can't just like do this and run behind it. It also like, you know, has fewer active frames as well, so it just goes away. This also is a bit of a nerf to his pressure, because like you can, a lot of the time Siegs will like poke you with something and do either like Fireball, or they do Verdrongen, or they would do Orkan or something. Now, because of how Fireball is faster, all of that shit loses to spot dodge, right? All three of those options you can spot dodge, and Siegfried's gonna whiff, right? Are we counting only one version of a fireball? I think like holistically, more so. Though, I mean, for this one, I mean, the U one is kind of notable. I guess I should have clarified that. Yeah, like kind of like the fireballs as a whole, unless one is like a really big standout by and large. But yeah, so like this thing is a worse pressure tool and a worse neutral tool than it used to be. It is more plus on block now. That's a big deal. But it was always plus anyway, right? It's not being plus 12 is that much different than being plus 6 when you're right in someone's face, right? So I think Siegfried is definitely this is number 6 in my head. It's still very good, but to me the nerfs to the fireball mattered enough that it kind of drops it out of contention for me, right? With Sieg M fireball, gotta be top 5 in my eyes. Yeah. This is I don't know about all that. Again, if you think so, sure. Just for me, it's just not. It's just outside personally. However, I will say the number 5 that I have on here is basically on here for only 2 versions of the move. So if you really want it, since like probably across the board, Sieg's fireballs are a little bit more useful. Like all 4 versions, he's a bit more balanced, right? So like if you wanted to, really, you could swap it. But our number 5, so to get into the list proper, is only here for 2 versions of the move, pretty much. And our number 5 fireball, in my opinion, is Katalina, right? So the thing with Katalina is that obviously her U fireball is very good, right? U fireball is very, very good, and it's a combo starter. It's a good poke. It's fast. It's spooky. It's plus on block. It's everything. All very nice, right? It's part of the new patch Katalina McDonald's combo of you just getting hit with like, you know, any sort of poke into like corner carry, corner to corner, 6,000 damage from anywhere on the screen. You know, that and the ice skates are doing a lot of work there for that, right? But the other version of this, they just like for some reason just sent to the fucking stratosphere in the patch is her M fireball. Why is this like a fucking hit scan projectile? It feels like I know it's not. It's hitting him on frame 35. I get that. More full screen though. Like why is this like this is like including the windup, by the way. It's frame 36. Like the windup is like 20 frames or something, right? If I could pause this right when she fires it out, it would be great. But yeah, the windup is like 16 frames. Why is this like so this travels the entire screen in 20 frames? Why is this M fireball from full screen a reaction check? Why is it a very difficult reaction check? Like, once the fireball is out, you have 20 frames to realize it's out. That's like bordering. That's reactable in quotes, not really, right? This shit is incredibly fast. This is this is an insanely quick fireball, and the other versions are not bad either. Like her L fireball and H fireball aren't bad. They're more bog standard though. They're not like as special. They're very like solid workhorse fireballs. But then M fireball and U fireball are just insane. And again, in a vacuum, anyone wants these fireballs. Anyone in the game would love to have these, right? That's going on, plushie. So for me, I think these to me make it the number 5 spot. If you wanted, yeah, H fireball's not bad either. Yeah, it is comboing mid screen is not that special. Like most fireballs can, a lot of H fireballs can do that kind of thing. But Cat's number 5 to me. If you really wanted to switch her with Sieg, I think I disagree, but I don't think it's like an insane thing. I'm not like gonna kill you on that hill. I don't die on hills, by the way. I kill you on hills in Minecraft. Number 4 is a bit of... So, this character as a whole has probably... Did you do Bub's Flies? No. It could probably go in honorable mentions. Nah. It could probably go in honorable mentions. It's not... I'll tell you what, Bubs is not on this list for me. You could probably put him in honorable mentions. It's a pretty good fireball. I'm gonna say, though, I'm gonna shaft him. He's neglected. Lost to the ether. Okay, so this next character, I think, has, like... I put them on here on the list. So I have a notepad on the side here. And on this notepad, I have, like, the names of the moves, like Katalina, Fireball, right? I just have this character with, like, just their name here. And I don't really know what to put on here, but I feel like multiple things of theirs are probably top 5 worthy, and I just wanted to put them in one slot here to not have them be, like, number 5, 4, and 3 or something. I just have Eustace as a name here, because, like, all of his, like, this shit is really good. The charge fire, like, his charge fireball is, like, faster than Katalina's fireball, basically. Like, it hits, you see, like, it hits faster than Katalina M fireball. It is faster. It's a U fireball clash level. You just don't win fireball wars against this guy. And he has 4 different speeds on it, and it knocks down now. Right? So, post 1.5, it knocks down, so it actually, like, really keeps up your zoning. Flamek is on this list. The thing is, Slow Kill is also on this list. I just don't know where. Like, Slow Kill is also one of the best projectiles in the game, right? Basically free round start win, just screen control out the fucking ass, Every version of slow kill is pretty crazy. L and M and H are very good. U slow kill is one of the best ultimate skills probably in the game. The more I definitely did, I was underrating this thing, I will tell you. And the more I play Eustace, the more I think about it, this is just one of the better ultimate skills in the game, I think, point blank, period, right? Forgiven can finally tell me he was right. For all this time, he's been telling me that I've been underrating U slow kill, and I was saying, nah, it's not even that good, but no, I am wrong. Send this to Forgiven. He is correct. U slow kill is one of the best U skills in the entire game, I think. And then the other versions of slow kill are also very good. The other thing too is that like Eustace's grenades are also some of the best projectiles in the entire game. Like M grenade is fucking unfuckwittable. Light grenade is like it's more situational, but it's very good. His H grenade is a war crime, and U grenade is again one of the better ultimate skills in the entire game. So like I just put Eustace on here at number 4. It's because like Eustace could be half this list. I genuinely think that every one of these projectiles is better than Katalina's fireball, right? So like Eustace could be slot 4, 3, and 2 here. I'm not gonna do that because it's my list, and I can cry if I want to. So I'm just gonna have Eustace as a character in number 4, and we can move on from there, okay? And like it's all versions of Flamek, all versions of slow kill, all versions of grenade are all very good, right? Eustace is that guy as far as fucking zoning is concerned. Kind of, honestly, he's kind of nuts with it. He's kind of nuts with it. Okay, on for number 3. Matera's crying right now. Matera wishes, bro. He will straight up beat her ass in Fireball Wars. He used to be like 4 and 3. For me, the grenades are really good, man. Don't sleep on the grenades, I promise you. Number 3 for me is this. I will say, in hindsight, this could be big body player bias. Okay, it could be big body player bias. I will say though, I think this Fireball goes under the radar a lot and is not talked about often enough in terms of just up there for best fireballs in the game. And that Fireball is, if I can find the individual in question here, for me, that Fireball is the H Catabot rocket specifically for Lowain here. The rest, it's the only one of these that is protect. The laser is like, it's kind of whatever. It's fast, it's nice, right? But for me, it's fucking this thing. Maybe this is big body bias, maybe, but like this is so difficult. This feels like you need an air dash. Like this is like designed for a game with air dashes, where like this game doesn't have air dashes, right? Yeah, Lowain is its owner, and like this is why. Like this is like the only thing lets Lowain zone basically. Like this, and like that's like the Junkrat wheel too. But like this thing is just so incredibly hard to deal with, and like in a vacuum, anyone would love this. And I'm ranking them mostly in a vacuum. But also, if I can just like talk about it for a second, this also does just like let him, as he's like getting all this free neutral wins, he just like eats or like falls up or does whatever the fuck he wants, right? Yeah, and the other versions are not bad either. This isn't that. I mean, this is not as good, but like, you know, the other version is still very good. The Cat Laser is still quite strong. So I think this, like, this just feels so overwhelming to me that I feel like it has to get a mention here for like best fireballs in the game, right? Like this feels like one of the fireballs that has the least counterplay to it. The fireballs are so slow that I think there is a timing to spot dodge these if you're further away, because they pick up speed the farther they go. If you're like from full screen here, there's a time to spot dodge it, but it's quite difficult. From like up close, they're slow enough, they'll just kick you out of spot dodge. You can't jump these because Lowain, you'll get air unblockable. You can't just like, I mean, there's so many fireballs here, you're not gonna be able to really just like bully through them unless you have like a U fireball or something, right? Like this thing is a real fucking mess of a move, personally. I think it definitely deserves to be in that bronze medal slot for best fireballs in the game. I will say, I think 2 and 1 are... 2, okay. 1, I think is very obvious, and there's just not even a discussion. I think 1, everyone probably knows already. I think 1, you could have argued 1 to be number 1 even before Siegfried Fireball got nerfed. I think it wasn't, but I think you could have argued it. 2 is a weird one, just because 2, I'm having a hard time separating number 2 from just how it literally single-handedly enables a character. But I think it's also a very good fireball in its own right. So maybe if I'm being fully fair and I'm going fully in a vacuum, then maybe number 2 should probably be number 4 or something. But for me, number 2 is Grimnir's Fireball. This is a very good fireball in a vacuum still, right? It controls a lot of space. It's like still slow enough. You can like do some stuff off it a lot of the time. Obviously, you can do this too, right? This is not honest. Like the thing that gives me pause here is like this is nice. It's not that nice outside of like some pressure scenarios unless you're a setup character, right? Like, this is still very good in a vacuum, more like for setup characters, right? Like, Vasaraga would love to have this. Anyone who has, you know, Versuja would love to have a fireball like this. Any, like, 2-step character would love a fireball like that, right? It's not, like, the ability to just, like, hold it in place here is not as good universally in a vacuum, but it does also give him like a lot of like pressure situations and stuff like that, where like he can do this in the corner, and he can like, you know, he can hit you with shit like this, and like you fall into it and all that. Like, it's still very good. So I think while definitely part of me is like, this is an incredible fireball, an amazing fireball, but it's not quite universally applicable. The best part about it, as much as it is like it's universally for his archetype, not just him, a very good fireball. And then it's it's an amazing fireball for that archetype, and then the rest of it is still very good, right? So like maybe I'm like breaking my own rule a little bit here and not like evaluate it entirely in a vacuum. But I think this fireball has enough merits on its own, and then when you count it and when you factor in how good it is for those 2-step characters, and how basically it's like the fucking thing that like makes like it enables Grimnir's whole fucking thing too. I feel like it's probably deserving of the number 2 spot. If we were going like, if I had to fully be like, okay, how useful would it be? How much would literally any character in the game want this? Then it probably is still like number 5 or something, right? If I have to go like fully ignore like it being good for like 2-step characters and making it only like full universal, it's probably like still number 5, and like it just goes, you know, and everyone else goes above it. But if I'm allowed to factor in the 2-step thing, I think it's number 2. And I mean, number 1 I think it's probably the most honest, the most unless you count death as a fireball, it's probably just the most obvious thing that I've ever said in my entire life. Because again, I think you could have argued this to be number 1 even before Siegfried's H fireball got nerfed, and obviously, it is the Throat Gosha right here. Every fucking version of this move is in contention for best fireball in the game, pretty much, except maybe the light one, right? Like, even then, the light one's pretty damn good, right? Like every single version of this fireball is honestly in contention for best fireball in the game on its own merits, and then all 4 of them are in a single move, actually. So, like, I don't even know what you want me to say. He has so many different options. Really, even what do you mean even you? You fireball's probably the second best one, man. Like H fireball is the best version of this probably. You fireball's probably the second best version of this shit. What are you talking about? After they buffed it? No, what? Even you? You's the second best version of this. Like, you is better than L and M. And that's really saying something, because like he has so much flexibility with this thing, right? He can steal back turns with it, so it adds to like his mental stack even more than you might normally expect. He can make it plus on block. This thing is like plus 75 billion on block. It's a combo starter. It's a side switch. You're gonna spot dodge it though, unlike the other ones. True, it's easier to deal with, but the reward of it is much higher than any of the other ones, right? Again, except maybe H fireball. His H fireball is like just a truly ridiculous move, but every single version of this fireball is probably like, if I could split versions up, this is probably like 1, 2, 3, and 4. Maybe Grimnir Tornado sneaks in over like the M version or something, right? Like if we have different versions of the move, then like number 1 is like Belial H fireball, number 2 is Belial U fireball, number 3 is Belial Light fireball probably, number 4 is Grimnir H tornado, and number 5 is Belial M fireball, right? Like, this thing is just impossible to deal with a lot of the time. You can't roll through it like you could every other fireball, because you can like pull it back and kill you for it. You can't jump it. You know, you can't like in chip scenarios it fucking kills you. It adds mental stacks. You have to some of the ones are like fake, and you have to like that right there. There's a big startup. You have to interrupt him, and if you don't, he's plus 1 billion on block. This thing is a combo starter, and it's plus like 1 billion on block again. What do you want me to say, right? The one time that it is actually fully acceptable to lose to Pinwheel is Belial Gosha, the Throat Gosha indeed. And you know what? The best thing is, it's gonna get buffed in the next patch, I bet you. They're gonna be like, you know, we buffed M Fireball, but it still wasn't seeing that much use, so we buffed it a fucking again. Because it seems like we just need Belial to have a little bit more of a toolkit here. Yeah, that I believe is just about gonna do it. Hey, look, shorter brick video, 18-minute brick video? I can't believe it. Who would have thought? This guy, he's learning to control the app. Like the fireball appear behind you? Yeah, like he has a different, if he hits like you when he's doing the fireball like charges for a second, it like sticks for like a second on screen, but at that point becomes unblockable. And if you hit it, it takes away a brave point on hits if you get hit by it at that point, or if you block it. Most characters with Pinwheel Fireball are entirely built around, he just kind of has it in his pocket. Yeah. Rick took my advice very personally. I mean, honestly, we're just like, the video ideas today have just not been very yap-worthy, right? 18-minute break video or an alternate timeline? Yeah, 19 minutes. Probably 20 by the time the outro's done. But, you know, I've been, in my head, I've always had this, like, I'm trying to, like, hit this 30-minute mark for no reason. I'm not really sure it's that meaningful, right? If I have stuff, trust me, if I have things to talk about, I'll go 3 hours. But for something like this, there's no need to artificially extend that shit. We're already in the ads, so it's fine. This ain't my streamer versus real yapper. Pipe down, little chungus. No, Lucy, you see his rated pretty high. Yeah, I mean, I think you could probably like fit a lot of them on the honorable mentions. Like again, Bubs, Needles, Lucy, Iblis. I think a lot of them could go on the honorable mentions, but like, there's a lot of like just pretty good fireballs here. I don't know that like they would necessarily like stand out to me as like best fireballs in the game. Maybe I'm ignoring Lucy. I'm gonna say I'm fine with that. I mean, yeah, real quick. So honorable mentions were the Ford F-150 from Zoe, Death, which probably is just number 1 on this if you count Death as like a, if you count Death, we're just gonna not count them. Matera and Siegfried, and number 5 was Katalina, Eustace for number 4, like 3 different projectiles, Lowain's H Cattlebot for number 3, Grimnir's Tornado for number 2, and Belial, like almost every fucking version of Gotcha for number 1. That is gonna do it on stream. We're gonna talk about the worst fireballs in the game next, which is actually kind of like a much harder list to put together, actually. Most fireballs in this game are at worst like bog standard, but we'll talk about it. For the VOD watchers, though, I will bid you adieu. Hope you had a good time with the video. If you did, any kind of like, subscribes, comments, bells, all that good stuff helps out a lot. I also do stream every day from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern, except Friday, so come by and hang out if you are so inclined. I also have a Discord, a great place to make some friends, get some matches, but if you do join and be nice, I'm going to shoot you in the head in Minecraft. Most importantly, hope you had a great time hanging out today, as always. I know I sure did. Have a lot of fun with Granblue. Gonna be a lot more coming your way. Let me know if you disagree with anything in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!